Well, hi, welcome to the fourth series of Business Bites. If you haven't seen any of the others, look at series 1, 2 and 3. There's quite a lot of video sessions, short videos covering anything from marketing to building an actionable plan to setting a vision to leadership, momentum, when you're stalled, having a bird's eye view on your business and so on. So with this series, we're going to look at a lot of relevant topics, and I want to focus on number one, around developing a culture. What I'm finding just talking to business people and those in not-for-profit is, how do you develop a good culture? It's not about putting out a few words and hoping that everyone gravitates to them or accepts them and starts to live by them. It's actually a lot more than that. Elvis Presley once said that values are like fingerprints. Nobody's are the same, but we leave them over everything we touch. And values are very much part of a culture. And as I said, if you've got a series of words and you put them up on a sign or put them up in front of, give a card to people, it doesn't mean that your company is espousing or organisation is espousing those type of words that you want to have. I heard a talk recently from Tim Manor, who was the CEO of Compassion. He's now moved on, but Compassion are those that you can sponsor children, or you can fund to build wells in villages in third world countries, and it really changes those places. So have a look at Compassion, but I'm going to take some of his words and add a few of my own around this whole issue of building a culture in your business, organisation, or whatever it is. It's really something as a leader, if you don't believe, if you don't speak the words, you don't live the actions or the words that you're talking about, you're never going to develop the right culture. It does really start from the top. And a lot of people just think we're here to make money, and that's great, and you probably are. I hope so. But in the end, it's just making money and you have a terrible culture. You won't attract or keep good people. And it's interesting, you attract the type of clients the way you're thinking. You have a good culture, you actually start to attract companies who like dealing with people that have a great culture. So culture isn't automatic. It's built and developed over time. It will reflect the attitudes and responses of the leaders, not just you as an owner or the CEO or COO. It could be a manager, it could be department head, it could be in the family with the husband or wife. Be aware of your own attitudes as a leader in your business, your department, or even in your family. What you allow, whether it be in language or treatment of others, attitudes towards change, or simply carelessness and wastefulness in the work ethic, that will flow through to other people. If you allow things like this to creep in, they not only will affect others, but they'll start to accept a lower standard as well. So culture is outworked in teamwork. A team is not just a group of people who work together to get a job or a task done, but a group of people who trust each other. And that's where the real benefit is, and the real method of building a culture is when you start trusting each other. You might find that difficult, particularly if you've worked with people that have let you down. And unless they change, they may have to move on, or you may have to get other people, because unless you can trust people, you're never going to build an organisation or a brand or anything else that will take you forward, and you'll never have a very successful culture. So the best way to learn to trust someone is to trust someone. It may sound obvious, and there are many owners of businesses or leaders who don't trust people or delegate because they don't think they'll do it as good as they will. Well, they probably won't. But in the end, for them to learn and them to grow, you're going to have to trust someone. And if they let you down, well, you can't necessarily give them more things to do. And if they regularly let you down, they've either got to change and you need to get some development for them, but eventually they may have to move on because they're not part of your culture, not part of building your business, they're not part of supporting you, and they're not people you can trust. So let me talk about some barriers really to a healthy trust or healthy culture. Number one, losing the challenge of what you are doing. Are you simply operating in the business if you don't own it? And funny enough, owners of business, prefer to be somewhere else. They're sick of the people, they're sick of the clients, they're sick of everything. Or people just get into a comfort zone and just drift. And that's dangerous in business, because over time, and in this day and age, in this business, clients will move on. Nothing stays the same. And you can't be the same today as you were 3 years ago or in 3 years' time. Costs increases, you lose a client, you need to be nurturing and growing your business and doing things better. So are you simply operating in your comfort zone? Are you coasting rather than being excited and challenged? This becomes the danger zone because you have no passion or enthusiasm for your business, your job, or your family. So you've either got to change or move on. If you own the business, a bit more difficult, but maybe you've got to start looking to delegate more or move on or sell or do whatever it is, because you don't want just be just doing a job because you become miserable and it affects those around you. Number 2, to build to a barrier to a healthy culture, is losing the wonder of God and His purpose for your life. Your relationship with Him should be one of expectation, so don't neglect time with Him. I find I get inspired in the book of Isaiah. God says, I wanted to speak new things, new ideas, things you've never heard of before. And you won't be able to say, I knew these all along. And it's funny when I just spend time and ask, I need inspiration, I need solutions to this problem, I need ideas, that breakthrough ideas come, things I'd never thought of before. Number 3, your own priorities change, or there are issues from your past. And a health issue, a relationship issue, a financial issue, a loss of a client can create a barrier to a healthy culture, because we get anxious, we get nervous, we get fearful, and it flows from us down to customers, it flows to staff, and it flows to our families. And it's really important that we are building, our relationships, we're building our staff, when we're building our clients. And that will affect the culture around you. Also, past issues and not forgiving people, a competitor who's done something to you, a past staff member, even a personal relationship, with another business person. And that creates, the fear and negativity that will affect your business. And number 4, another barrier to a healthy culture is when you lose a kingdom perspective. If you want to build a business with a godly Christian culture, you cannot lose the perspective of God as the King. And Miles Monroe says, as a kingdom is the sovereign influence of a king over his territory, impacting it with his will, intent and purpose, producing a community of citizens expressing a culture, reflecting the nature and lifestyle of the king. And in a sense, a CEO or the owner of the business is the king. And really important to hear that. And number 5, business red tape. That does not build a great culture. I know you need systems and you need processes, but through recent bushfires, we've had government issue 7 pages of paperwork to provide $1,300 grant. People haven't got time. In fact, they've lost everything. They can't even have the information to fill in the form. So they just forget about it. And our businesses create stepping stones, red tape, even for staff. So when potential client or a client rings up for something, they've got to jump through so many hoops. They say, too bad, we'll go somewhere else, or we'll find another way of dealing with it. So red tape will bog people down, and rather than helping them achieve their best, it doesn't create a great culture. You can see this in government departments all the time. No wonder the culture in these places can be very negative. Look at how your people do reports. Who do they have to report to? How many steps it takes to get a job done? Is there really a simpler, safer, more streamlined way? There's a sense of real achievement and productivity. So I'll finish there in this Business Bite, and next week I'll issue another Business Bite number 2 that will just continue on a bit around developing a healthy culture. So go for it. Start working on building your culture today. Thank you.